This meeting will come to order. This special meeting of the Board of Health is called to order in accordance with Section 5, the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Be advised that adequate notice of this special meeting of the Board of Health of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this Board of Health special meeting will take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, March 15, 2017. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. So to explain what's going on, we are going to have a very short Board of Health meeting. The Township Council is the Board of Health. We will then adjourn that meeting and go into the regular council meeting. We're not going to have a Pledge of Allegiance during the Board of Health meeting, but we will have the pledge during the regular council meeting, which should start in just a very few minutes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Chase.
Here.
Councilwoman Francois. Mayor Kramer.
Here.
Councilman Onijaka. Councilman Prasad.
Here.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman. Councilman Vasanella. Deputy Mayor Wright.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to open to the public for public session?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of opening for public session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. So this is a public session for the Board of Health meeting. Technically, you're allowed to speak about anything pertaining to issues of government. However, I just will remind you, this is a Board of Health meeting, and we'll have the public discussion in our regular meeting in just a few minutes. So anyone wishing to come up, please do so and state your name and address. We'll be limiting it to 2 minutes.
Seeing no one coming forward, I move to close the public session.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public session is closed. And now the business of the public session, of the Board of Health meeting is a resolution. The following resolution is presented to the Board of Health for adoption. Resolution 17-02 requests the Federal Energy Regulation Commission to conduct a health impact assessment of the proposed Williams Transco compressor at Trapgrop Quarry in Franklin Township. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. So very brief explanation. Our ad hoc committee has asked us to do this as a means of opposition to the pipeline or the compressor station on the pipeline, and council is happy to comply. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Mayor Kramer.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Do I have, well, obviously it passes. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion. All in favor of adjourning the public health meeting, Board of Health meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Can't start the second meeting until 7:10, because that's how we advertised it.
That's how you advertised it? I was overly efficient.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
We have 6 minutes. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for that. So we can have a town hall meeting. Anyone have any questions for council? Most of the Girl Scouts are here. Do any of the Girl Scouts have a question for council? This is informal.
That's the proclamation. Okay.
Anyone want to know how the town is run?
Can you say it in 6 minutes?
Probably in 3.
Very well.
Yeah, there we go. But, oh, yes, here we go. What is my job? So I presume you mean as mayor. So the mayor, all of council is a part-time, we're part-time people. We get paid on the order of $10,000 a year. And we are kind of, if you think about the town as a corporation, we are the board of that corporation. We don't run the day-to-day, we don't hire, we don't fire, we just kind of set policy. And in our form of government, the mayor is really, actually it's termed first among equals. So we are all equal. I am first among equals. And basically my power over any other council person or beyond any other council person is I run the meeting. I have one appointment to the planning board. There's, I think, 9 total. I appoint everyone that's on the library board. I sign, when we pass these things, I sign those things. I can call a meeting. In fact, the Board of Health meeting was my decision to call that. 5 council people could get together. They could call a meeting, but the mayor could do that. And beyond that, I have no other special powers beyond the rest of the council. We also can't talk to our department heads and tell them to do something. Like today, I wasn't happy, and you'll hear about this later, I wasn't happy with how Davidson Avenue was plowed. I couldn't call up the head of Public Works and say, plow that road. I had to go through the manager. So the township manager does kind of what you think of as what a mayor does. He hires and fires. He directs the department heads. He's here every day, and he does the day-to-day operations. So we set policy, and he carries out that policy. Does that kind of answer your question? Good. We have
And we pass ordinances,
right.
laws for the township.
Right. So a law for the state is called a statute. Laws for the township are called ordinances. We have a department head here of fire prevention who every time a house doesn't burn down every day, it's because of him. Any other questions? We have 2 minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can you please forgive me or apologize up front? I'm dealing with a situation on my full-time job, so if I'm texting, I am multitasking, so I'll just...
Okay, absolutely. But if you leave the room and we don't get another council person before then, we will have to stop the meeting because we are just barely a quorum. How do we do with snow removal this time? I know I was unhappy with Davidson Avenue, but how did we do in general? I don't see any complaining. That's good. Okay. One thing.
Besides, if they complain now, it does no good. The manager isn't here.
Believe me, I will pass it on to him as I did. So Mr. Vornlocker isn't here, and that's because he has an illness. He told me I could say exactly what it was. He had a retinal detachment. So since we just ended the Board of Health meeting, if you ever notice a bunch of flashy lights, especially if it's in one eye, or a bunch of floaters, we all get a little floater now and then, but you see a bunch all at once, you go to an eye doctor right away. Not next week, not even tomorrow. You go right away because he had a retinal detachment and they used a laser and they soldered it back in and he's sitting at home, but he's good and his vision is saved. So looking at my watch, because one thing I insist on is starting right on time. We've had in the past mayors who have waited 10 after, quarter after, 20 after. I like to run on time. And it is now 10 after, so here we go. This special meeting of the Township Council is called to order in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Be advised that adequate notice of the special meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this special meeting would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7:10 p.m. on Wednesday, March 15th, 2017. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. The next item is the Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by the Girl Scouts.
Oh.
So did we have a plan for that? I guess not. So why don't the members of the Girl Scouts that are coming up to do that, come on forward. Is that mic on?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Please remain standing. Yeah, no, I will do the invocation. Let us take the next few moments of silence to each seek in our own way whatever sources of inspiration will grant us the strength and the power in our thoughts and decisions to be for the benefit of all people at all times. Amen. You may
Now,
be seated.
Councilwoman Chanel Robinson will read a proclamation to the Girl Scouts.
That's a roll call.
Girl Scout troops, if you would remain up front, you're receiving a proclamation this evening. And as a
Maybe
former
we'll get another
Brownie
council
and Girl
person if we
Scout
delay
and
the roll
Junior,
call.
it is with indeed an honor and pleasure to read this proclamation. Whereas March 12th through 18th of 2017 marks Girl Scout Week as designated by Girl Scouts of the USA, a movement founded in 1912 by Juliette Gordon Low in Savannah, Georgia. And whereas through Girl Scouts, girls grow strong, gain self-confidence, develop leadership skills, and learn the lifelong lessons of contributing back to their communities. And whereas throughout its long and distinguished history, Girl Scouting has become the preeminent leadership development organization for girls, having inspired more than 59 million girls and women to strive for the highest ideals of courage, confidence, and character. And whereas more than 3.8 million Girl Scouts nationwide, including in excess of 100,000 in the state of New Jersey, join in celebrating and rejoicing in this great American tradition. Whereas the success of this extraordinary leadership program is achieved in a large part to 147 adult volunteers who, through their dedication, time, and talent, led nearly 300 girls in grades K through 12 in the Township of Franklin. Whereas prior to achieving the Gold Award, many Franklin Girl Scouts have achieved the Bronze Award, which can be earned by girls in 4th through 5th grades, and the Silver Award, which can be earned by girls in 6th through 8th grades. And whereas the projects that our Franklin Girl Scouts have undertaken to achieve these awards have made a lasting impact on our community. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Philip Kramer, Mayor, the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby proclaim March 12th through 18th, 2017 as Girl Scout Week in the Township of Franklin, and call upon all citizens of the Township of Franklin to recognize and support the contributions made by Girl Scouts and adult volunteers toward improving the quality of life in our community. Signed March 14, 2017 by our Mayor, Philip Kramer. Congratulations.
I understand we have two Gold Award scouts here. If they'd like to come forward and talk a little bit about their project. I hate to have to say what I'm about to say. The Gold Award is equivalent to the Eagle Scout for the Boy Scouts. I want it there to be a day where everyone just knows that. But unfortunately, everyone doesn't, so I did have to announce it.
Hello? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kiara Smith. I'm a senior at the Pingree School, and as of last Thursday, I obtained my official Gold Award recognition by the council. A little bit about my project was that I had seen a community in which a lot of kids who were the children of caretakers didn't necessarily have an outlet where they were able to speak out about how they felt in terms of their home situation. So what I did was that I created a study support group for these kids to talk about dementia and Alzheimer's in ways that they could help their loved ones, which are typically their grandparents, in order to help their family throughout this tough time. And ultimately what I saw through this and what the children saw through this is that it was okay to speak. And since Alzheimer's in particular is a growing disease that's still reoccurring in America and nationwide, well, that's the thing, America and the world, it's better to be more informed. And I think that's what my support group overall definitely established.
Hi, I'm Adia. I want to start by saying that a lot of us have gotten our Gold Award. It wasn't just us, we're just the ones talking, so holla at y'all. I'm Adia. I'm a senior at the Groton School in Massachusetts, and...
I'm a Groton graduate.
Oh, really? Word. Okay. Yeah. So, yes, he was. Yup. And the guy who invented standardized testing. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, bad stuff. But a little bit about my Gold Award. I went to the Center for Great Expectations, and that's a shelter in Somerset. It's really close to my house, and they work with women, single women with kids, who are battling addiction or who are suffering from homelessness, and they give them both a place to stay and workshops and stuff on like getting out of their situation, and also daycare for their children. And so I went to the shelter because I think they do really great work, and I asked what they needed, and they said they needed stuff to happen with their daycare, which wasn't what I expected, but it was okay. So I made a music program for the kids in the daycare, and it lasted 3 weeks, and I taught them about instruments. I had guest people come in. Heather actually came in and played clarinet. And it was really, really fun, and yeah. It was just establishing a love and appreciation for music in kids, like 2 to 3. And I had a great time, and I highly recommend going to the center and asking if you can help out. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Heather Atanasio. I'm a senior at Franklin High School. For my Gold Award, I worked with the St. Peter's NICU. So I did first off, I made care packages for parents that are unexpectedly transported to St. Peter's, so they don't have the necessities they need. So I provided toothbrushes, toothpaste, hairbrush, all the things you would need if you didn't have anything. And then a second thing was I first off wanted to make clothes for the preemies at the NICU, but when I talked to the nurse manager, she said that they needed burial gowns. So I ended up making burial gowns for the babies, and also had some other people make some with me. And then also I made hats. I donated over 100 hats. And then the main part of my project was I raised money and bought voice recorders so the parents could record themselves singing, reading, and then the nurses could play it for the babies when the parents weren't able to be there. So the kids felt as though their parents were there. So I raised money and donated 25 voice recorders, also donated books too. So that was my project.
Hi, my name is China Eason. I attend Union Catholic Regional High School. I'm a senior. And for my Gold Award, it's basically a lifetime of memories through music. I got maybe 3 iPods donated. It's basically for old people with dementia and like Alzheimer's, who couldn't like remember their childhood. I put together CDs with maybe 30 songs on them about just like old songs, just to help them remember like their childhood and stuff. And I also went there and taught them how to use the iPods and the CD players and all that good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Town Council, Mayor Kramer. I'm Lori Savern. I'm the service unit for I'm service unit manager for the Girl Scout Service Unit 67, which covers all of Franklin Township. And as the proclamation had said, we have 300 Girl Scouts, and we have almost 150 adult volunteers here in Franklin. And we're doing good works all over, as you can hear from some of our senior Girl Scouts who have earned their Gold Award, and we're so proud of them. And they're such a great example to all of the younger girls that are here. Please spread the word that the girls are ready to help out. If you know of a project or an organization, you can get in contact with me through Ann, the clerk here, or we have other ways. Just ask somebody. We appreciate all of the support that we have in the township. For all of you that bought Girl Scout cookies, thank you very much. That helps fund all our activities and our service projects. And if you know a little girl in the town that would like to join Girl Scouts, please let us know, because we are forming new troops. And we appreciate, again, thank you so much for the recognition. We really appreciate it.
Wonderful. I never imagined that they had rotten student here. Wow. Wow, they don't have first.
That's the second form as well.
Can we all gather around for a
Mr.
picture?
Sackett?
I do know.
Come on up.
Mr. Sackett taught me in his first year there.
We'll go in the back.
Believe it.
Mr. Sackett.
Tall ones in the back.
Mr. Polk still comes for lessons and carols every year.
Oh, good.
So I
Yeah,
see
he
that.
was 2 years behind me.
Yeah, not a lot of Groton grads around. I guess there are. Yeah, not in Jersey. Yeah, facts.
He was in the cut. I mean, are we tall? Are we in
Yeah,
this?
we carried
Are
him.
we on this?
You guys are going.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're okay. Right back.
Yeah, we're gonna do the public hearings on the 28th. There's a resolution on there moving them.
As long as we're all up
That
here,
works. You're welcome.
Madam Master Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Chase,
Here.
Councilwoman Francois, Mayor Kramer,
Here.
Councilman Onijaka, Councilman Prasad,
Here.
Councilwoman Robinson, Councilwoman Sherman,
Here.
Councilman Vasanella, Deputy Mayor Wright.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sherman, would you like to read the proclamation for Women's History Month?
We'll just wait a moment while our Girl Scouts are heading out. Congratulations to you all.
Yes, yes.
All right, proclamation. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and the strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Whereas American women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of life and of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home, whereas American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force of the nation, whereas American women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. Whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, and the industrial labor movement, as well as civil rights movement and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. And whereas despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. Now, therefore, we, and this was put forward by Councilwoman Kimberly Francois and Mayor Philip Kramer on behalf of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Women's History Month and urge the residents of Franklin Township to take this special opportunity to recognize and reflect on the progress made by the advance women's equality, to take stock of the challenges facing women today and celebrate the gains made by women in our society. Signed by our Mayor Philip Kramer. How appropriate to have this today when we honored our Girl Scouts, showing what these marvelous young ladies are doing, how proud we are. Thank you.
Councilman Prasad, if you would present the, I'll pronounce it wrong, I'm sure, Nowrush Persian New Year 2017 proclamation.
Great. We've done this one in the past also, and the proclamation reads, whereas on the first day of spring, people in the Township of Franklin will gather to celebrate the Persian New Year of Nowruz, an ancient Persian festival that has spanned thousands of years to bring in a new day or a new year. And whereas Nowruz is a significant celebration for all Persian people, symbolizing the change of seasons by marking the first day of spring, the renewal of life, and beginning of the new year. And whereas Nowruz symbolizes the affirmation of life in harmony with nature, an awareness of the inseparable link between constructive labor and natural cycles of renewal. Whereas this day reaffirms a commitment to intercultural understanding, mutual respect, and cultural diversity. And now, therefore, we, Philip Kramer, Mayor, and Rajiv Prasad, Councilman of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, New Jersey, on behalf of the Mayor and the Township Council, do hereby proclaim March 20th, 2017 as Nowruz Day in Franklin Township, and do hereby extend greetings to all Persians in our township on this important occasion. give this to Manija Sava, and please say a few words. And of course, Alex Karazi is another prominent Persian here in town, and we're glad both of you are here. So please say a few words.
Thank you. Actually, this is the second time I'm receiving this. If you haven't received one, we can share it. Yes, thank you. As an Iranian, I can't have my backs to you. It's inappropriate for me to have my backs to you. But then I have my backs to you. So I'm facing everybody. I want to be facing everybody. So I just, we don't call it Persian anymore. It was Persian Empire, actually. And Persian Empire, like every empire like ourselves here, has expanded and contracted over the years, over thousands of years. And we call it Iran now. And because of that, I don't see, and I don't think any Iranian can really declare that they are Persians anymore, because we are a nation of many very diverse population of Turks and Kurds and Baluchis, Loris, Mazandarani, people from Khorasan, people who are all from Egypt to parts of Asia Minor. They were all Persians. And some of them now are Iranians, but the rest of them are scattered in Afghanistan, partly in Iraq, in Syria, in India, Pakistan, Turkmenistan, a number of Asian minor countries like Azerbaijan and others. So we call it Iran, and it's good that we remember that. And this practice of Persian New Year has changed over the time with every expansion or colonization of Iran in ancient colonization practices. But what we are very at this time, the way Iranians celebrate is actually takes about a month of celebration and preparation for the first day of spring, which starts with vernal equinox, and this year starts at 6 a.m., 6:40 minutes and 28 seconds in the morning. And it's a solar calendar, and at that time we would sit around the table, which is called Hafsin, but has a lot of items on it. I have this small picture to show everybody, and I can pass it on, that it has a number of things on it that all express life, rebirth, and rejuvenation. And at this table, we sit around the table, we gather around the table, it becomes a symbol and center of our attention and our purpose for that day and the rest of the year. That day is called Sar Tahrir, which is Monday, 20th of March this year. And for that day and for 13 days after that, we go and visit all members of the family and friends that we have known. Even if somebody that we haven't seen for a year, we go and see them that year. Sometimes we end up seeing one person about 10 times a day because we have seen them all over the place because we go. We start from visiting our elders and the wise people. In my family was always my grandmother, who everybody, friends and family, would come and visit. And we basically reconnect. We have very strong sense of community and connection, and peace and justice. On that table, actually, some people put Quran, which is the religion of the major part of the country, but we have in Iran, even up to today, we have Zoroastrian, we have Baha'is, we have Muslim, we have Christians of all sorts, Protestant and Catholics, Armenian, or Syrian, and Jews, that they live and they celebrate, and they know themselves as, for example, Iranian Turks, Iranian Kurds, Iranian Jews, Iranian, from every perspective, because they see a sense of connection to the culture and the community and where we are. So I'm happy to have this time to talk about this. I'm hoping that next year we are going to have a very prominent celebration of Nowruz in the township somehow. We tried to do it this year, but it was not possible. So we'll do it. We plan for it much ahead. I was late this year, and the rest of us were late this year, so we can't forgive ourselves for this year. And but on 13th, by the way, on 13th of this month, on November, it would be 13th would be Saturday or Sunday, next Sunday, which is the 13th day of the Iranian New Year, where we go out of our houses, we take out the sprouts that we have kept for the whole 13 days and goldfish that we have on the table. We take them and we celebrate, we go to picnic basically. We have a potluck type of picnic in Colonial Park, and we would actually have seen it there too, so people can see it, and we encourage everybody to come. And we have certain foods that we bring in and we share it with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Rajiv, and thank you, Council. Just wanted to add a couple of things. If you have a friend who is from any of these countries that I'm going to read, congratulate them for the arrival of the New Year, because it's the official holiday for anybody who is from one of these countries: Afghanistan, Albania, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Iran, Iraq, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and also people from Pakistan and India, and Kurds in Syria and Turkey. All of them they celebrate. It's a big event for them. And so please don't forget, if you have any friend, that. One thing that I also wanted to add, there is always, during the Nowruz or the New Year, most of the houses, they have a very nice big table, decorative table. And this year, on this Sunday, this coming Sunday, we have a large table in our mosque at Masjid Ali, which is at 47 City Grove Lane. Around 11, 12 o'clock at noontime, if you're passing by, if you wish to see a decorative table that most of the houses have, please stop by, and you will have also some pastries at that time. Thank you again, and thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Rajiv.
Invite the council, and I can safely invite all of you who are here beside the council on Monday the 1st. You can come to our house at 146 Emerson Road. We have the table. We have some sweets. You can stop by and see the table and celebrate with us. Thank you. Monday the 20th, this coming Monday.
And Mr. Prasad, if you would do the Holly proclamation.
Both of you. Go on up. So, this is a proclamation for Holi. Whereas the ancient festival of India, originally known as Holika, was a special rite performed by married women for the happiness and well-being of their families, and whereas the significance of the day has changed with time and has evolved into a socio-cultural, religious, and biological festival of the celebration of the joy and the colors of spring. And whereas Holi is celebrated at a time of the year when the fields are in full bloom and people are expecting a good harvest, giving them a good reason to rejoice, make merry, and submerge themselves in the spirit of Holi. And whereas the many legends associated with the festival reassure the people of the power of truth, as the moral of all the legends is the ultimate victory of good over evil, including the legend of Lord Krishna, who started the tradition of play with colors by applying color to his beloved Radha. And whereas it is believed that play with colors helps to promote good health and have an important place in maintaining a healthy body, that manifests itself in the tradition of applying Holi which is celebrated by non-Hindus and Hindus alike, helps to bring the society together and strengthen the secular fabric of our country. And now, therefore, we, Philip Kramer, Mayor, and Rajiv Prasad, Councilman of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, New Jersey, on behalf of the Mayor and residents of the Township of Franklin, to celebrate Holi with various activities and programs to learn about its historical significance. By the way, Holi was on Monday, and Priyanka Chopra happened to be on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and they actually celebrated by painting each other's faces with colored powder, and so it was for the first time celebrated there. Now I'll ask Mr. Suren Tiwari to say a few words about Holi.
Honorable Mayor, honorable members of the council, those who are present, I want to take a moment and thank the council for doing this, because I don't see it only as a proclamation of Holi. I see it as an affirmation of Franklin Township's diversity and harmony. Because if you don't think it that way, I think that's the significance of this. And I think this is second time or third time, or I don't know how many times we have done this before, but I certainly very grateful to the council and the town to think it that way. So again, thank you very much. Enough has been told about Holi, so I don't want to take much time about Holi. It's interesting that how Nowruz, the first day of the year, and Hindu calendar's first day of the year, they all kind of get together. And it gets together because the initiation of spring, because of the harvest. So what it tells you is the world celebrates the harvest. The world enjoys that day. And that's why no matter whether you are in Iran, you are in Egypt, you are a Punjabi, you are South Indian, you are an Indian as such, you are Pakistani, there is some form of celebration for this day. So that's what we should celebrate. You know, I want to tell you that Holi is celebrated with colors. I see no colors outside. I see white and gray. So there are no colors to celebrate. But I want to tell you, this is the storm before the calm. So wait, hold your heads high, and have the hope we'll have spring next week. Thank you so much.
And for our last proclamation, Councilman Chase, because it's March is National Nutrition Month.
Whereas food is the substance by which life is sustained, and whereas the type, quality, and amount of food that individuals consume each day plays a vital role in their overall health and physical fitness, and whereas there is a need for continuing nutrition education and a wide-scale effort to enhance healthy eating practices. Now, therefore, I, Philip Kramer, Mayor of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2017 National Nutrition Month in the Township of Franklin. And I encourage all citizens to join the campaign and become concerned about their nutrition and the nutrition of others in the hope of achieving optimum health for both today and tomorrow. And I see we have a nutrition expert to receive the proclamation.
Thank you for recognizing nutrition as important, and I think it goes along with the other holidays of celebrating the harvest and food. And of course, Easter and Passover and other, the equinox are all around the same time. So let's hope that we can continue to have lots of healthy food and clean water for us all.
And come together rather than be divided. The Persian New Year is all about healthy food and healthy living.
All right, it is now time to open the meeting for public discussion. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion on public discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are now open for public discussion. Anyone wishing to speak on any matter pertaining to government may come to the mic. Please state your name and address. May only come up once, and we are limited to 5 minutes. Ed.
Good evening. My name is Manija Sabah, 146 Emerson Road, Somerset, New Jersey. First of all, thank you for acknowledgments and celebration of the Girl Scouts. I was believe it or not, I was a Girl Scout, and I really enjoyed it. And seeing Girl Scouts really makes me smile all the time. Despite the fact that I don't like the cookies, I don't think they are good for the kids, but still always I buy some. And usually I find somebody to donate it to. Thank you for that. I would like to make a suggestion that include women of all sexualities have also participated in this celebration and fight for women's freedom and suffrage originally and everything else that they have done, not only in the United States, everywhere. So the sexual orientation was missing. Race, ethnicity, class was there, but sexual orientation was missing. It would be good to add that also. The other thing I wanted to say was about Sanctuary City. I have talked to you about this months ago, and I've continued on the background talking about this, and I really think that we need to do this. We have, I'm sure, I know that we have a lot of people who are undocumented in this town, and with the situation that we are, very dark time that we are living in, many of the children, particularly of these communities, are scared deadly that one day they come home, their parents are not there. So we have to be the advocate and make sure that our communities, no matter who they are, what color they are, where they come from, if they have some bloody paper or not, they are assured that they are being protected and respected and loved. I have been to a bunch of workshops by ACLU, by Reverend Barber, by other people, and I'm going to provide some resolutions that Wisniewski has introduced to the Assembly, and also resolutions about the same that has been introduced in Maplewood and Montclair for us to discuss it. And really, I think we need to move this, discuss this and move toward having a safe place for everybody in our community as soon as we can. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is this issue, and I really thank the township, all of the council people who have strong supporter of stopping this disastrous Williams compressor that they're planning to bring here. We don't need it. It's not going to be for our use. These oil companies now trying to expand and blanket more than they have already done all over this country with these unnecessary and dangerous oil pipeline and compressors and everything, that particularly this one is trafficking hydraulic fracturing, which most probably we are not going to be using anyway this gas, and also this gas is product of very dangerous and damaging process that is devastating many communities, in which these are being produced. And we know, for example, from hydraulic fracturing, in 1 year, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, in Ohio, that has never had earthquake, they had more over 100 earthquake in a year. So we have a lot of earth-shattering processes that is going on, and we don't know what is going to happen, what is going to next. So thank you for that, and I fully support stopping this disaster from coming to this wonderful community. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Ms. Powell.
Hello, Linda Powell, 22 Buffer Drive. A few things just to support my friend Manager. It was brought to my attention by one of our reporters that across the river they're having a sign saying hate has no what was it? Hate has no home here, and to show their support for their diverse community. So that might be an idea that we could have here in Franklin, having people put up lawn signs, which might be a good idea. I have several thanks today. Speaking of Girl Scouts, I was a Girl Scout as a child, and I was also a Girl Scout as an adult when my daughter was a Girl Scout. In fact, I think I still am. But I also don't like the cookies, but that's another story. There's other ways you can contribute. I want to thank the Board of Health, which is basically the council, for passing a resolution. I'm sorry I was late, so I missed the actual vote. And I also want to thank the Environmental Commission for passing a resolution. Both are basically in protection of our community health, and asking FERC to do a health impact assessment before they approve this project, which in my mind is a disaster waiting to happen, which we don't need or want here. And also to remind people to take the opportunity to come to our free health forum that will be this Saturday, March 18th at 2 o'clock at Sampson G. Smith School, which is 1649 Amwell Road. Well, our featured speaker is Dr. Curtis Norgard. He's a pediatrician and researcher from Massachusetts who has made this his specialty. And he is going to share with us his knowledge on the human health risks of natural gas. So please come out this Saturday for that. And Happy New Year. And Happy Holi. And happy holidays to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Rossi.
Good evening, Alex Corazzi, 14 Margaret Drive. Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to thank you and the township, our township manager, as well as everybody else who did a fantastic job in cleaning our roads. It was a really amazing job, so let's give a round of applause indeed. So I just want to let you know that we really in the township, as members of the residents of township, we are very appreciative of what you and your crew and the township's people are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor, members of the council, Scott Siegel, 2301 Navy Court. I was a Cub Scout, an Eagle Scout, but never a Girl Scout.
There's still time.
Yeah, you never know. Modern times, that's what works. Councilor Prasad, the last council meeting, you had hoped that President Trump would mention the very bad events that happened in Missouri as well as Pennsylvania. And if you notice, he started out by mentioning those two events, so I hope you'll thank him for that. He also mentioned something else which would be more relevant to us, the Jewish community centers, which have been threatened throughout this country, but including in Somerset County. And just in general, I really believe the members of the council, it's America, you can say whatever you want, but I do believe you really should concentrate on the township, because you're not in the Congress, you're not in the state legislature. And the last time you did this, you remember it was about Catalpa Park, and Brian Levine started an organization called the Tranquility Alliance, and you had an email to our police chief calling people exercising their First Amendment rights as part of a violent racist criminal group that the FBI should investigate before violence occurs. And I think that's a problem that happens when he's straight from this area. Also, this meeting, we have a big for Middlebush Park, $443,000 now for a concession stand. Spoken about this many times. It's going to cost about $500,000 before it's said and done. And this is a total waste of taxpayer money. Again, what should have been done is an auction system of food trucks. Assuming they don't serve the same cuisine, the top 2 trucks offering the township the most money should have been chosen. And if you need bathroom facilities, that money could be used towards porta potties, because about, I'd say, a third of the year, it's probably dark there, so you don't need a full year system for that, and keep pipes going so they don't freeze. And if we had food trucks, we'd probably pay for the porta potties, give the township extra money. Instead, we're going to throw $500,000 down the drain. And I think that's a continuation of money. Also, again, I oppose the blanket ban on pet stores selling pets. Again, I have a cat that I got from the Franklin Township Animal Shelter, and all my pets I've ever gotten are from shelters. And I truly believe in the shelters, but other people may want to buy from a store. And again, this should be done on a case-by-case basis. If any store abuses an animal in any way, the store should be shut down and people prosecuted. But if someone at a store treats the animals humanely, gives them the proper medical care and the proper attention, there's no reason why their business should suffer. And the dog's cat's going to go somewhere. It'd be really nice if they go to a good store that treats the pets well. And I think, again, that should be done on a case-by-case basis. And if anyone does violate our laws in any way, they should be severely punished. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Oh, one more.
Mayor and Council, my name's Louis Pinella. I live at 168 Gerard Avenue in Somerset here. Okay, I'd like to share a little event that happened on Sunday, February 19th, the day after the fire elections in District 3. Flyers, and I'll give you a copy of these, that were thrown on my lawn that day with a couple of people who were running for the seats. Okay, I got a police report, and they suggested that I put up surveillance cameras, okay, which is good for catching criminals, but I didn't think it'd be for those who are supposed to be protecting us, okay? I'd like to share this with you, okay? This behavior should not happen in the fire service, okay? I sincerely hope you people do something with these people down in Fire District 3, okay? I just want to leave this with you to look at, to go over. I should not have this kind of abuse in Franklin Township. Thank you.
Okay, if you could give that to the clerk, and Anne Marie, if you could send us all a copy, and perhaps if you could send a copy to the fire chiefs, I guess specifically District 3. Fire Commissioner, right, yes, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else wishing to speak? I will entertain a motion. I cannot make a motion.
Seeing no one further coming up for a public comment, I move that we close public discussion.
Moved and seconded, seeing no discussion. All in favor of closing public discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Public discussion is closed. Council comments. We'll start down at the, I'm going to say the heavy end of council, but that's just by the number of people, not by any particular dietary compliance. Mr. Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Firstly, happy Holi and happy Navroz to everybody. I will like to report that the Temple Bethel had an interfaith meeting where we had 70 houses of worship that showed out in support, and the mayor was there, and a lot of our council members were there as well. and Mr. Karazi, who's our president of our interfaith community, did a great job of bringing everybody together on last Saturday, at the Temple Bethel in support of all the threats and desecration of tombstones that has been happening with all the Jewish community. And also our former mayor, Upendra Chavukula, spoke about the shootings that have taken place in the Indian community. They're being mistaken for the Taliban, etc., and so they're getting shot. And there was a Sikh gentleman that got shot in Seattle. So it is, I was at a roundtable conference with one of our gubernatorial candidates, and he held a roundtable conference, and one of the imams pointed to me and said, you can't tell whether he's a Hindu or a Muslim, and yet, he would get shot or persecuted because he looks like me. And so that's happening everywhere, and it's deplorable and shouldn't be happening. This is not what America is all about. And so we fully, are against any kind of hatred and any kind of violence. There are peaceful ways of resolving our differences, and mostly it is ignorance, and we should try and communicate better and educate the people about the various faiths. And once you have an understanding and a knowledge of other people, you will tend to refrain from these kind of acts. So let's all make that effort and try to make it happen. The compressor. We have a deadline of the 20th of March. The Environmental Commission has already requested an environmental impact statement, and earlier today, the Board of Health, which is the council, has passed a resolution which our master clerk will submit to FERC. Oh, you sent it already. So it's already been sent to FERC. It had to meet the March 20th deadline. They are going to have an application filed by the Williams Transco Company on the 27th, and that's when the clock starts ticking. And all of us should sign up to become interveners. And the more people we have as interveners, the more they will have to respond to all of us, and it'll slow down the whole process of the approval of the FERC compressor station. So there is that health forum that Linda Powell spoke of this coming Saturday at 2 p.m. at Sampson G. Smith. It is about the health impact and effects of a compressor and its operation and what it's going to do to our community. So if you want to educate yourself, please turn out for it and be there and learn about. And a gas explosion can impact a 75-mile radius, so it'll devastate our town. So please keep that in mind, and we should try and prevent that from happening. Councilwoman Sherman will probably speak about the Community Foundation meeting that we had, and so I will defer to her on that one. And with that, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. Councilwoman Robinson, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Apologize for my voice. Only reports that I have: fire prevention. Actually, there was a fire in one of the adult communities as a result of the placement of mulch. I just want everybody to be made aware, in which they will be meeting with that particular community. I believe it was Somerset Run. Is that correct? And they will have another meeting in how to approach in the safety of mulch and other things that pertain to fire prevention. What they found was the reason for that particular fire was the mulch was too close to the foundation or the home, and somebody had flicked a cigarette. And then because it was so close to the resident, that it caused more damage than it would have if it had been placed differently. And so even for homeowners, single-family homeowners, we may want to reach out to your fire districts or your fire company to find out about those types of events to make sure that your fire safety or safety with fire. The other thing is Housing Authority. The budget was submitted. We're waiting on word back for approval. And, of course, Ben Carson has already made his plan and strategic plan for Housing Authority, so we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I have nothing else to report, except for the fact that congratulations to Girl Scouts for Girl Scout Week. What a beautiful beautiful presentation of the things that they have been doing. I think it's great that our young people are actually out in the community and not selfish, and they're doing things for other people, and I would like to see that continue. And it actually is a segue into what we are celebrating or giving proclamations for Nowruz and Holi. And I think in any faith or any ethnic group, when you have a sense of family, and I love what you said about life, rebirth, and rejuvenation. And I think at any time we all should take the time to stop and reflect and have a reflection on rebirth and rejuvenation. Sometimes it keeps us stress-free and being able to embrace other people from other cultures and love one another regardless of where we come from, regardless of a color of our skin, regardless of what our faiths are. So again, thank you for that. And other than that, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to yield my time because my voice is running out. I've been working 15-hour plus days, so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Councilwoman Chanel Robinson. Do you have a go-live happening or something at work?
Yes, we're rolling out a new clinical information system at our hospital, and I work IT, so since last Thursday, I've been working 15-plus hours. One day, I actually worked about 30 hours. So.
Hey, it'll
She managed to do it. That's how good she is.
That'll keep you young. Speaking of young, Councilman Chase.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We didn't have any meetings of the land use or the public works committees at the end of last month. I'm anticipating, I think, our next public works committee meeting will be discussing what roads to be repaved this year. I was contacted by a constituent who lives on Canal Road, actually corner of Canal Road and Copper Mine Road, who would like to see that part of Canal Road from Griggstown to 518 essentially closed to motor traffic Sundays in the summer. And I said, well, we've already done that from East Millstone to Butler Road, so we ought to be able to do it on our stretch of Canal Road. So I'll be meeting with him in the near future to flesh this out a little more and discuss this further with the mayor, who has arranged this for the more northerly stretch of Canal Road, and the manager. And I think, trying to think of this. Oh, we did have a meeting of our green team that prepares actions for sustainable Jersey to get our certification. Of course, we were just certified last November, so we're now in a period where we don't have to work very hard, but we are starting to consider additional actions. And at this particular meeting, we heard from Chris Abrapta of Rutgers Cooperative Extension about things we can do in the way of green infrastructure. There are some projects in the township we can do, and in particular, he wants to encourage the construction of rain gardens wherever possible to catch runoff, bioretention swales. And so we'll be looking to do some of these projects. And another thing that we can do is if we're repaving parking lots, do it with porous pavement with a crushed stone under the pavement. And this allows the rain to sink through the pavement and collect in the crushed stone underneath and eventually drain into the ground, rather than running off and eroding our streams. I know we've had problems such as with DeRussie's Brook in the vicinity of Phillips Road, where the township is having to spend a fairly large amount of money to prevent further erosion that was eroding into people's backyards. So anything we can do to stop erosion of our township streams is an important thing to do. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Chase. Councilwoman Roz Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple of things that have happened, but let me first speak about the Community Foundation. Usually that's Councilman Vassinella's area, but since he's not here this evening, I will just fill you in. I'm not sure whether he's mentioned this in the past, but the funding for the Community Foundation came from the Heller family. They were builders or warehouse people. You've probably seen Heller warehouses throughout the state. They're I don't know the history of how it happened here in Franklin, but there's a certain amount of money that they have invested in over the years. We have used the interest from that money to give out to various programs that have come forward to present their need for financing. And it's been a long time, and the money is still pretty much whole. The Heller family themselves have come back and said, we would like to move the money, use the money, get it circulated. So what they've come back and suggested is that they give, on behalf of the Heller Corporation, two $5,000 scholarships every year to our children in the high school, for children looking at engineering as a career. So that's a very generous scholarship. I think it's really one of the higher ones that we have. And I think that it is not that they intend to run out the money, but I believe their idea is to keep refreshing the money and raising more, but at least spend it so that, we were spending $1,000, $2,000 because all we had was the interest. But now we're going to move forward and use bigger chunks, which I think is a marvelous thing. And hopefully they will find ways to replenish that money as we move along. The theme here tonight seems to be so much having to do with interfaith, and I have to say that I had the privilege of attending the interfaith meeting that Dr. Karazi heads up. I was there for a very specific purpose, and then I came along with a couple of others, but primarily looking for volunteers from our faith community for the Franklin Day Festival. But it was a marvelous moment to sit there and look around the table. We had the Buddhists, we had some people showed up from a Mormon community, we had the Muslims, they had the Jewish people. It was just a marvelous thing, and I liked the comment. I think the word he used, and I tried to remember it, but when we present these resolutions or these proclamations, it really is an acknowledgement of the interfaith tone of this community, that we are really saying we are tolerant, we are happy that you're here, and we acknowledge you as one of our residents. So it is a wonderful community in that respect. I also was privileged to participate in a tour of a company here in Franklin that PompSecure. They make credit cards, and believe it or not, the new trend, the higher end credit cards are metal, and they're different kinds of metal, and it's an upscale kind of thing that snob appeal, shall we say, but it works, and companies are ordering them left and right, and they're doing quite well, and they're very successful. We welcome them to Franklin. They've been here for several years. They're growing and expanding and went from 30 employees to 500 and something today. And so this is the kind of company that we would love to continue to draw into our community. I did have the pleasure of attending, and you have only this weekend left, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the show at the Franklin Township High School, the Sisters Act. Let me tell you, I mean, I've seen several of them, and each one I see, I say, that's the best one. This was the best one. It was so amazing. It was so incredible. Get your tickets. Go see it. I smiled through the whole thing. I just couldn't believe the amazing talent. Every act, every dance, every part of the show was amazing. So go see it. You're going to miss something great if you don't go. I also have started working with the Board of Education for the Franklin Day Festival. I'm trying to see if we can get some of our students for our cultural diversity dance group, and we're also having an art show, so we want to bring in student art for that part of the Franklin Day Festival. I think that covers everything, and I do want to just say one other thing. I know several people here on the council are very concerned about the immigrant situation, very concerned about the hate crime situations, very concerned about the types of things we're hearing, and this is certainly not Franklin Township, but we need to protect ourselves. Not sure where we'll go with it. I know we're moving ahead. I know there are things that are happening, but maybe we need to be moving a little faster, and perhaps we can talk about it more and see what we're going to do about that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sherman. For my comments, I guess I'll pick up where you left off. Councilwoman Sherman and I agree in our hearts about what we should do about the sanctuary city situation. The one thing I would disagree with is that we might not be moving fast enough. I think we are moving at exactly the right speed because it's something you really have to be very careful about. You can do it wrong. You can hurt people when you do it. And I'm not going to show you what this is, but this was handed to me today by our township attorney. I've been talking frequently with law enforcement about it. I very much feel we will be doing something, assuming I get the votes, and I feel assured I will have the votes, and it will be done in the right way soon. Let's see. Well, I thank you, Mr. Karazi, for your comments about the plowing. I, however, went down Davidson Avenue this morning, and if anyone else did, and I was literally embarrassed. I wrote an email to our department heads, and normally I wouldn't do that because of Faulkner, but because of the Faulkner Act, but our township manager is out ill, and it basically said I wanted to stop the car and hold up a sign that said I'm sorry. It was terrible. And it turned out, once again, a contractor, it seems, and I may be falsely accusing, we still have to do some more investigating, but the best evidence is that a contractor did not do their job, and it wasn't plowed, and it became compacted in ruts, and it was horrible. But I sent out that email, and amazingly, by the time I got home, it was nothing but pavement. So thanks to our Public Works Department for correcting that. I'm going to be looking to be sure that the contractor, if it was their fault, is not paid for that section. And I sent we don't have to go into the details. I included our township attorney on my suggestion for future contracts for when someone doesn't do that. He will tell me whether we can do that or not, what my suggestion was, but it was something I was diligent about. But other than that, it does seem that They did do a good job. I will talk about we're going to be addressing the ordinance about the pet shops. I will discuss that when we get that. And my last comment would be, beware the Ides of March. They are upon us. Moving on, there are no council discussion items. There is no township manager here tonight to discuss anything. So we are at the approval of minutes. The minutes of Township Council Special Meeting, February 7, 2017 at 7 p.m. All of these are at 7 p.m. The Budget Meeting on February 13, 2017 at 7 p.m. The Work Session Regular Meeting, February 14th, and the Special Meeting, February 21st. The Work Session Regular Meeting on February 28th, and the Special Meeting, March 7th. Are hereby presented for approval by the Township Council. Have a motion in a second.
Motion for passage.
Second.
Any corrections, any discussion? Anyone wishing to withdraw on any of these? I guess they'll do that when they vote. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Excellent. Approval of the minutes. This is the real reason we came here tonight, was to pay our bills. And so approval of the warrants. Warrants in the amount of $2,934,741.69 on March 15th are presented to the Township Council for payment. Have I a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or question on the warrants? Seeing none. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Thank you. So the next item is normally the second reading. So we present ordinance, we vote on ordinances twice. The first time we vote on it is the first reading, which is an announcement of when we will have the second reading. It's essentially introduction. Let the world know that we are presenting this ordinance, and then on the second reading, there is a time for public discussion and a final vote. However, that we advertised it to be yesterday, and it snowed yesterday, so we didn't have a council meeting. So we cannot have a public hearing now because we have not given adequate notice yet for when we would hear those. So on our consent agenda, we have the item K, resolution to authorize a change of public hearing dates on ordinance numbers 4181-17 through 4185-17, and the township attorney has advised me that we should vote on that one separately, and now to move the date for the hearing to March 28th on all 5 of those ordinances, to March 28th, 2007, at the council meeting, which will be at 7 o'clock.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
2 things actually have to happen here. We have to table all of these ordinances to that meeting, and we also have to pass that resolution setting the new hearing date. The only exception to that, and I'm going to ask the clerk this, I believe that we have an amendment to what has become known as the cat dog ordinance, which is actually a cartoon character, but I'm going to leave that aside. But the ordinance with regards to pet shops.
Puppy
My suggestion is that ordinance, we should probably adopt the amendments, and then we can then adopt it on the 28th. Madam Clerk, the ordinance, am I correct that the necessary technical amendments are in red on? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I would request, Mr. Mayor, is that we at first make a motion to amend that ordinance and just so you know, the technical amendments that were made to that ordinance was that there were 2 different definitions of pet shops in our ordinance. We've now amended the definition in this ordinance so that it will be consistent with the definition of pet shops in our ordinance. In other words, A pet shop is something that's not a kennel. We wanted to make that clear. So we'd like to make that amendment, and then once we make that amendment, my suggestion is that we make a motion to table these to the meeting of the 28th, and then adopt a resolution setting the hearing date, setting the public hearing for that date, and directing the clerk to advertise. So,
Okay,
first,
so
I think we should make a motion to, I think a motion to amend 4182-17, consistent with that which is in your, if you all have it in front of you, you'll see it in red. It's an amendment, a revision to the definition of pet shop. Is that correct?
Yes, and I can see that not everybody has their iPad.
Right. I'm sorry, I can't get to it. I've gotten lost in the iPad system.
Okay.
So if I can, I can, it's maybe the simplest way to do it is that we are going to amend the definition of pet shop to read as follows, and if I can, I'll just read it into the record. Is that the simplest way, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to amend the definition of pet shop, which is contained in section 115-45 of the ordinance, to read as follows. Pet shop means any retail establishment which is not part of a kennel wherein animals, including but not limited to dogs, cats, bird, fish, reptiles, rabbits, hamsters, or gerbils, are sold, exchanged, bartered, or offered for sale as pet animals to the general public at retail for personal appreciation and companionship rather than for business or research purposes. Such definition shall not include any animal care facility or animal rescue organization as defined. So that is the definition that is currently in our ordinance, and we're just revising the definition in this ordinance to be consistent therewith. So you need a motion to amend it.
Motion to amend as read by our attorney.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Now we need a motion to table.
To table all of the ordinances on second reading, Mr. Mayor.
Motion to table.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Since it's a tabling, we can only discuss when to move it to.
Yes, so this is actually a motion to postpone to a specific date, which is March 28th.
For the council meeting at 7 p.m.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
So now I will.
Just to be clear, I think that we should probably adopt Resolution 17-102 now so that the record in our minutes will be clear as to what.
Okay, so from the consent agenda, the last item on the consent agenda is Resolution 17-102, authorized change of public hearing dates on ordinances number 4181-17 through 4185-17. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Do I see a I don't see a discussion. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. So I will make comment now about the puppy mill ordinance, as I would like to call it, puppy mill, cat mill ordinance. A member of the public came up and spoke about that. I indicated I'd talk about it now. Unfortunately, that member of the public, as is his practice, did not stay to hear. But this is not just about the pet shop itself. They could treat those animals well, but it is where they are getting the animals from. And this is to stop the puppy mills, which could be off-site, they could be 5 states away, who breed animals. They sometimes, their breeding stock don't leave their cages for their entire life. We have no way of monitoring how they are treated. We have no way of monitoring inbreeding. So this is also to protect the customer here who may be getting an inbred animal and whose inherited disease may not manifest itself for 3 or 4 years down the line. And unfortunately, the current Washington administration took a list of those shops, those breeding puppy mills, off the web, so it is now very difficult to determine whether those, whether our pet shop here is using one of those particular shops. And and then finally, he brought up last time, not this time, that we should just inspect them. Unfortunately, there are no minimal federal guidelines and state guidelines as to how to inspect them and what to inspect them for. So that would require the Department of Health to develop those guidelines, which is beyond the scope of what our local Department of Health does. So I do think this is the appropriate way to move to protect both the animals and the consumer. So we are moving on, unless there's further discussion on that. I see none. To ordinances on introduction and first reading. An ordinance 4186-17, an ordinance releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of the public of a street known as a portion of Tuxedo Lane in the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, March 28, 2017, at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Complex. So this is essentially a very short street that the township currently, on paper, owns. It's really more or less a driveway, and we are required to plow it and maintain it, and it's really not something that the public uses, so we will vacate it and award the land to the homeowner. So do we have a motion on introduction?
Motion for introduction.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
We are now at the consent agenda resolutions. Items A through K is listed on the A through J as listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion?
Motion for the consent agenda.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone want to pull an item, discuss an item, highlight an item? Hearing none. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Item 15, resolutions to be voted on separately. There are none.
Okay.
Old
Electronic.
business, 2017 boards, commissions, committees, and vacancies. Do we have any nominations? Seeing none, we shall pick that up again on the 28th. We have no executive session, so the last thing we have is adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Second.
Moved and seconded, seeing no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Be well, Franklin.